That was great timing. Your original F-bomb stayed in the audio cut, but was not on the stream because you did not realize we were going live yet.
No.
Dodging monetization. Hi,
Boom.
welcome to What's Up.
Heyo.
We're doing stuff.
We're
Okay, I think there's two bits of business we have to immediately address.
yes.
One is what the heck you see on screen. Actually, let me move my sound control panel out of the way so I can see the preview screen. I can see what people are seeing at home. Very important. So, Lucky, what are we doing today?
We're doing art. Actually, I'm actually going to work on my OC, I guess is the best way to put it. Do Not Steal. OC's name is Lucky Chimerical, and he's a monster boy. I will hopefully make progress on this. If people have, I think they've only done actually like maybe 2 doodles of him so far, and I did them on fucking sticky notes.
Yeah.
But I have an idea. I'm gonna try and start getting it out. Actually, something we were talking about yesterday on Let's Talk FGO.
Yeah, we talked a lot about writing and stuff, so we talked about creativity as well.
So
all right, that's what we're looking at.
Yep.
So the second thing is, because people have been wondering about this, what's up with Let's Talk FGO? Not this show. The other thing that could have up, which is pretty simple. It's hecking long. Okay.
Hecking.
We recorded for like over 5 hours again, not counting pre-show, post-show breakdown, all that stuff. So I had to edit it and then upload audio, and then after finishing audio, I had to put it in a video form, and then I went to bed basically because that's how long that took. And then I slept for like 6 or 7 hours. I rolled over. I looked at my computer monitors, which were all still on, and it wasn't quite done yet. So I went back to sleep for another hour or so. And then when I got up, it was actually finished. So then I had to upload it for an hour. And so, yeah, it was like 2 a.m. when we finished recording. So, yeah, we started late. We ran long. It took me a long time to produce. It is up for patrons right now, but we don't have like time codes or anything because our time codes guy is probably asleep and he hasn't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah, so basically, I put it up. I got it out to patrons in the middle of the afternoon this afternoon after all this stuff. And so it's not quite ready to go public. Depending on how things are, I'll either throw it out maybe like around like midnight tonight when it switches over to the next day, or just wait until tomorrow anyway because we don't have anything scheduled on Sunday because we do What's Up Live now. So we'll figure it out. I'll see how it goes, see what happens with people. It is a big, long episode. I do hope people watch it, but it's not quite ready to go public yet because it's so long. But yeah, we're here. We're playing What's Up. Lucky's doodling. I have my Switch, so I'm playing Hades. I don't think we Aries dash. Dashes are important. But yeah, so the big thing obviously this week. Actually, before we go anywhere, let me. That was a good segue to do our business. Let me remind everybody this episode is brought to you by our patrons. Like Adam DeHar, Bahaga Comics, Kazime, Bucker 10, Black G, Carlos, Kwai, Ellington Maynard, Ferris, Jeremy Vasquez, Jonathan Sandoval, Kylie Den, Legendary Boss Hunter, Liam Kessler, Richard Raptor, Rogue Robin, Charvor, Sean Peace, I'm Guiding Bob, Soto Son of Tuver, and 723. And if you like what we do and want us to do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early on some degrees, and it really helps us out. Thank you for support, everybody.
Thank you.
So now that we did that part, the primary thing we're going to be talking about today is probably Vigigums.
Vigigums.
Because it is technically E3 right now.
Technically.
Though, if you watch today's press conferences, I could see why you wouldn't think that.
I am
still... They exist, but it's very weird. I gotta be real. I'm not... If this is the caliber of what we're getting, I'm not sure why we brought E3 back. Like, most of these companies could have done this on their own time. And honestly, some of the companies today should not have bothered. You'll know which one when I get there. I don't think Lucky was paying attention to the Gearbox one very much, but
no.
Oof. I tried to watch. Stuff happened, hypothetically.
Yeah.
But this week got started out earlier with Summer Game Fest, hosted by Jeff Keighley, of the Video Game Awards. It did include a cameo by his best bud Hideo Kojima, talking about creating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there were a few announcements. I think obviously out of that, the biggest one we're interested in is that Hideo Kojima was on to announce Death Stranding Director's Cut,
That's definitely something interesting.
which will be the next gen bump of the game, but also will have definitely some form of additional content because the whole trailer was this whole build up to a very Metal Gear ass looking scene. There's a warehouse, there's dudes in patrols, they did a cool little top down camera cut, they made a whole extra super long, very awkward joke about the cardboard box,
Mm-hmm.
So that looks interesting. I mean, I'm for it, though. Obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade has come out, and I have not had any goddamn time for that. So, but hopefully, especially if we can transfer our saves. Jesus Christ, I cannot imagine. Even if it's gonna be pretty, I can't imagine playing Death Stranding again all the way through just to get some extra shit at the end. That game is a trip, but it is a lot of delivering packages, guys.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of delivery. Go back to past What's Ups to see our opinions on that. I almost said future What's Ups. We'll see if that happens. But that was a big one, I think, for us. There was actually an Elden Ring trailer with gameplay and stuff.
And stuff.
And, I mean, it's another FromSoft game. It's okay. It looks like a Soulsborne for sure.
Yep.
It will be released January 21st of next year, so we've got a date. There was a trailer. I know a lot of people were like, Jeff, just show Elden Ring. But I mean, it was a sponsored event. There was a big Amazon gaming branding on it, so like, lots of people paid lots of money to have their trailers and shit shown, I'm sure, ahead of time. So everything's got to have a proper order, guys. But let's see. One of the shocking announcements was that there was an announcement for Metal Slug Tactics.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. I've seen the games, obviously, but I've never played Metal Slug before. But, I mean, it's a tactics game. It's got boxes, squares, and you move, and you shoot at guys in squares.
Mm-hmm.
Looks pretty interesting. Also, a lot of people on the internet are excited about certain advancements in the art style for certain female characters. Yelling about how one of them has abs, so obviously everybody's excited. Let's see. Yeah, there were some other games that were announced, but most of these I don't even know or really care about. I guess there was a trailer for Tales of Arise that people like.
Yeah.
Blizzard wanted to reassure us that Overwatch 2 is in fact real. Please don't go away, like everybody did. It's too late, Blizzard. Nobody's playing Overwatch anymore. That's not entirely true, but I think I've talked about this before. In case you're ever wondering how Blizzard Activision is doing, I think across all their games they net lost players, concurrent users, in a time period when everybody was playing more video games. People played less Blizzard Activision games. I wonder if that has to do with the previous crisis of the world before the quarantine thing that everybody was super up in arms about. But yeah, so that's still there. And let me see, any other things that jump out at me? They announced that 2B is coming to Fall Guys. There's going to be a 2B Fall Guys costume.
That might have me a little bit, not gonna lie. I do love me some 2B.
There was a trailer for Back 4 Blood, but I gotta be real, I don't care about the trailer. I'm already gonna play this game. That's always a weird state, right? When you know 100% you are about this game and you're like, I don't need to see any more trailers. Tell me when the game comes out. I'll be there.
Yeah.
What I think is funny, though, is that there were technically a couple of, like, big trailers and announcements that got echoed in E3 proper, which was a little weird to me. Like, there was a new trailer and talk focusing on Far Cry 6, interviewing Giancarlo Esposito and so on,
Mhm.
kind of talking about that. But obviously, Ubisoft had a thing today, so we'll come back to Far Cry 6 if we even need to. Far Cry 6, it's good. It looks nice. They've got trailers. There's a date. That's cool. The other thing was that we got a first announcement of the trailer for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which is a fantasy Borderlands spinoff that has a lot of big name actors, not just voice actors in it, apparently. It is technically not a Borderlands game, but also it is a Borderlands game. I'm not really sure what the context here is. Like, they talked about, Ashley Birch was on stage, and she talked about how in that one DLC for 2, Tiny Tina's, what was it, Keep on the Borderlands? No, that's an actual D&D adventure. I don't know. It was something like that. Assault on Dragon's Keep. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds Assault on Dragon's Keep. I think it was
The weird fantasy DLC they did, which was cool actually. I liked that. That had good ambiance and it had a lot of funny stuff. There was a lot of tabletop jokes in it, bunkers and badasses and whatever. They talked about how that was a big breakout hit and a lot of people liked that feel. But obviously the game has Tiny Tina and Butt Stallion in it. The magical horse from Borderlands 2. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what you mean by it's not in the continuity. Like, is it a full-blown alternate universe thing? Is this going to be the context of Tina's going to run another game? I don't know. I don't necessarily know what they're going for, but my impression from the interview and from the couple of trailers they've shown is that shockingly, it will be a Borderlands game, but fantasy. I know, groundbreaking. Which I'm okay with. I mean, I still haven't gotten around to finishing Borderlands 3, and I don't know when I'll find time to do that, but I'm sure I will. They'll do something, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I never finished that game. Let's go shoot some more guys.
Let's shoot guys.
Fun times. But yeah, so let me see. I'm scrolling. Yeah, I think that's everything that actually was like really interesting to me. I know there's some more stuff that I'm sure people will have cared about in the thing, but that's all that stuck out to me. And that stream was a while ago. So let's see. Then we should probably just go ahead and talk about what happened at regular old E3, official E3 today.
Yeah, we're only on the first day.
Yes. We had 3 major streams. First was Ubisoft Forward. They went first. They had an hour blocked out. And I mean, I'll admit, I don't know if they spent their time the best, but they had some good stuff in there. So they started with 15 minutes of really trying to get you to buy Rainbow Six Extraction.
No longer quarantine.
I have heard some strange animal people say they're interested in this game. I played the original weird Horde mode in Siege, and it was not good. Siege's engine was not really built for that, for playing PvE Horde mode shit. It was designed for, tight PvP stuff. But I guess somebody must be very excited for it because they did 15 minutes, Lucky.
Yeah.
They went all out. They had a story trailer and a gameplay trailer. So I guess they were.
Somebody wanted it.
Somebody wanted it. And I will say, to their credit, it does appear from like the gameplay trailers they showed and stuff that they are actually like introducing new gadgets and tools to make the game more PvE friendly. But personally, I'm not super interested. Like I've played a decent amount of Siege, and I think they threw in later a teaser trailer for like a backstory trailer for a new operator, but not a lot of detail yet. But like it exists. People apparently want to play it. I felt no such enthusiasm. But hey, whatever. If they're dead set on releasing it, and I guess people do want it, so we'll see what happens.
Or maybe they're just trying to make us think that people want it.
No, I listened to some other commentators and they're like, "Oh, I'm excited for this game." I'm like, "What? Fucking what? What makes you think this is good?" But I don't know. Whatever. We can't say PvE Horde shooters are dead because Back 4 Blood is coming out. Watching gameplay trailer, I'm like, this doesn't look like it's doing anything really interesting and unique. It, looks really really average. Like blah blah blah. They're alien parasites. They're not. They're fucking zombies. One of them explodes into spikes or whatever. One of them's big and tough, and a lot of them are just mooks. You can shoot bullets to make the ones on the ground go away for some fucking reason. I don't know if you have special bullets or something, and it's just the concept seems so alien. Haha, pun not intended. But like so alien to a Tom Clancy branded setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, guys, you could just. Is that your excuse? You really want to make your weird alien horde shooter, but you don't think anybody will fucking play it if you don't make it by reusing your Rainbow Six Siege assets? I don't know. It seems really weird and kind of. I don't want to call it lazy because, like I said, clearly they're putting a lot of effort into this, but also yes, lazy because they're also reusing a lot of assets for this. I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird to me that this exists. But yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. Another one of their other big games they showed off was what is it? Republic of Writers, I think it's called.
Something like that.
It's basically the next game in the vein of Steep. That game that Ubisoft have tried really, really hard to sell you on the fact that you want to go extreme snowboarding, but it did actually seem like an okay game that people liked, so, can't go wrong. Like, I was sitting in our Discord chat with some people, and I think they think a couple of others helped me phrase it best. I'm probably not going to play that game. Like, well, I don't know. It might be... Did I hear it was going to be free to play? Like, if it's free to play, I could pick it up, I guess, and try it out,
Mm-hmm.
But it's a game I'm not really interested in playing myself, but I know people will play it, right? It looks like it's got some fun tricks. People like, the wingsuiting, the BMXing, the skateboarding,
Mm-hmm.
It looks like it's got a sense of humor as well. Like at one point they showed like a mass race and there's a guy driving like an ice cream, bike, like an ice cream shop bike.
Yeah.
Funny stuff like that. I'm like, okay. I'm personally not interested, but I can see that this game has a lot of heart. It looks all right. Let me see what this was. I just was watching some other people cap this thing, so I'm shocked that it's kind of slipping away from me, but here we are. But let's see, because they had a couple. Oh yeah, they actually, I think it was after they did the way too long about Rainbow Six. They had another trailer / press thing that was kind of really long for what they called Rocksmith Plus, which does not so much seem as a game as it is a way to teach yourself how to play songs on guitars. I don't know. Like the trailer and the presentation was all like really like artsy and creative, and I'm like, again, this is like, I don't know why we're slamming this so hard in the middle of E3, but
I mean, Rocksmith was a thing back in the like this was like post Guitar Hero and
yeah. They seem to have, for what they're calling Rocksmith Plus, they seem to have like refined that process and made it like really accessible. You plug in your instruments, you can use your phone now as a microphone and like get on their app and sync it to their website and stuff. They're just taking this Rocksmith technology and putting it in more places. Like I said, it seems like really like technical and artsy to be in an E3 presser, but I mean it's cool, I guess, if you want to do that,
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I just felt like it was a little weird, but serviceable, Let's see. Then after that was the Republic Writers. They did that trailer for Siege, for an operator. Just Dance was, in fact, there. They did not have crazy people in animal costumes come out on stage. Because I assume all of this was pre-taped. Like, I'm not sure, but I don't feel like this was truly live streamed,
Oh yeah.
Like there was nothing interactive about it or anything. But Just Dance is happening. Whatever. They talked a long time about AC Valhalla, which I've heard mixed things about, but whatever. And then we started a theme of E3 apparently, where we decided to show a trailer for a werewolf movie. It's connected to an Ubisoft game, but it is a movie. So I'm like, That's weird.
What
Yeah, it
what
says based
Ubisoft?
on the video game you've never heard of
Yeah,
in the
I know.
trailer.
It's like it makes me think. Is it just? Are we just playing Werewolf though? The board game? That's what it kind of
That
seems
kind
like.
of seems like the theme of the movie. Like I, it seems kind of fun, and they have a very funny. I just saw a quote because I'm watching the stream in reverse now, muted. They had a quote where it's like the best video game movie yet. Like, I'm not shocked. Also, that will absolutely come back, but that's it's Werewolves Within. I don't know. It seems yeah, it seems fun. I don't think I'll go out of my way to get it, but it's very weird. But that'll be a theme. Then they showed more Far Cry 6 stuff. At this point in the presser, since they were coming up on the hour, I reached my peak jadedness. I was like, okay, so we're gonna show a big cutscene as a story trailer from Far Cry 6. Then a developer will appear and he'll tell us about Far Cry 6, and then he'll disappear and they'll end it with gameplay. I was technically wrong on that last bit. The first two bits happened in that order. And not that I'm shocked. I'm excited for Far Cry 6. Like it looks pretty cool. They're doing a lot of interesting stuff, and they've got the build up. The gameplay bit they showed though was the really freaky thing. Lucky, did you see this? The thing they showed after the Far Cry 6 trailer?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you may want to I don't know where this would be, but you may want to look this up. But they've said as part of the season pass for 6, as some kind of DLC.
Oh
or
no,
update mode.
yeah, no, like
yeah, this part, right?
Yeah, okay, that part, yeah.
Yeah, so they're announcing I don't know what to call it, like a Far Cry reverse mode, where instead of playing as the heroes, it's a game mode which I presume is built on the Far Cry 6 engine, where you play the villains. You play as Voss from Far Cry 3. You play as Min from Far Cry 4, and as what was it, Joshua from or is it Joseph?
Joseph, I believe it's
Joseph.
Joseph.
It's one of the two Joe names that are very big. You play as him from Far Cry 5, and they look like they have their own unique, weird gameplay stuff. Like Joseph did a melee kill by jamming a Bible in a dude's mouth and then breaking his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And to be real, Far Cry has always been like a little bit of a trippy series, right? Like not just with their side games, but even in their real games. Like I remember doing a lot of the Mandala Vision Quest shit in Far Cry 4,
Mm-hmm.
All of them have been a little wild like that. So I'm interested to see what this is. I think the only thing that some people may find disappointing is that it seems mandatorily tacked on to Far Cry 6 for now. Also, I think they don't say for sure, but I think they hint at the end of this trailer that they're going to have a remaster of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon as well as part of the 6 season pass features.
Mm-hmm.
That could be interesting. So that seems, like I said, neat. But yeah, it's marked as part of the Far Cry 6 season pass. Then they announced a sequel to Mario plus Rabbids. This one is in space. There is a Rabbids Rosalina. I never played the first game. The art style is kind of cute, and I know people liked it. So that's neat, I guess. It was popular enough for them to get a sequel, That's cool. Obviously coming to Nintendo Switch. Then they had a guy with a very strong accent show up to sell it. But, it looks all right. That'll come out 22. And then they brought on your boy Yves Guillemot for one last thing, which was the trailer for Avatar Wilds of Pandora. Now, I should clarify, Avatar and Pandora is in the movie film by James Cameron, not related to Avatar The Last Airbender or the Pandora of Borderlands. It's almost like people should stop using all the exact same names for everything because it gets confusing sometimes. And I mean, the game graphics look stunning on the trailer they showed for the Avatar game,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, obviously following with James Cameron's vision. I joked that the in-engine graphics probably look better than the movie does right now.
Probably.
It's been 10 years.
Probably.
That said, I personally got a very weird vibe from the trailer because it's an Ubisoft-produced game, because, everything's cool and majestic and open world and shit, and then all of a sudden, the big scary corporate army men come and they start trying to shoot at nature and stuff. And one of them gets shot with a giant arrow, just like happens in the movie. And I just had the thought of is this gonna be an unironic Army Man bad actually game? Because let's be real, the original Avatar was not a subtle or original story. It was just Fern Gully, which was just Dances with Wolves, which was just something else, I'm sure. It was not a very original story tell. And even, honestly, the elements in it weren't that original either. But it looked good.
Mm-hmm.
But I just, think there's something weirdly ironic about Ubisoft, who have made such a killing out of the Tom Clancy brand. They literally led this off with a Tom Clancy branded game. They talked about somewhere in the middle about how it's been 20 years of Ghost Recon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, if this is actually only a game where you save Pandora and punch evil corporate army men, it's gonna be a little bit of a weird vibe, Ubisoft. I'm getting mixed messages here. But the game will almost assuredly let you ride space dragons, so that's cool, I guess.
I do like space dragons.
Yeah, I'd have to know more. It just kind of came out of nowhere as their one last thing, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. So that was Ubisoft. It was only an hour. They didn't have a lot of games. They focused really hard on a couple of games, but I feel like that's kind of the year everybody has had. We've all got just a few titles we've been working on. Everybody's had to slow down, work on a few things, and so that's kind of the position we're in.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. I was busy doing some stuff, so I didn't actually watch Devolvers. But I know they had another weird show that was probably pretty good.
They like being weird.
Yeah, but the fact that Devolver went first and had a weird show, I think, is relevant because, man, 2K really wants to be Devolver Digital. Because, God, they were trying to be weird. Okay, guys, I'm going to step down for a second, okay?
He's gonna step down.
I'm going to talk to you about the Gearbox/2K press conference. Only it wasn't a press conference. It was an excuse to send Randy Pitchford to the set of the Borderlands movie. Because they kept reminding you. They opened and closed in a 30-minute show, by the way. It was a short one. They only had a 30-minute presser. They opened and closed with 10 minutes on the front. I think it was actually maybe more like 5. But it was a lot of minutes out of their 30. They closed and opens with being on the set of the Borderlands movie with Randy Pitchford. And this is one of those things where you go, this ain't it, fam. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know why they had an E3 presentation. Are you trying to get me to watch the movie? But why would I be watching you talk about the movie at E3? I want to see you talk about games.
Games are good.
And I'll say this, right? I have not been harping on, but I've been critical of some concepts behind the Borderlands movie for a while, and I can reiterate them if you haven't heard me in a while. I mean, no offense to the actors they have cast in these roles, but I have always looked at the casting of people in the Borderlands movie and been like, this movie has no idea what it is. It is not going to be like Borderlands, and I do not think I'm going to like it. Randy Pitchford apparently said during the stream, I was mostly had my headphones off while he was on screen because I don't give a shit. He said that it was going to be an authentic Borderlands experience. I'm fairly certain that cannot be correct. They have made so many weird casting choices. They cast Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis. Now, Jamie Lee Curtis is cool, but she's also, getting on in years. In Borderlands, Tannis is only in her 20s or 30s, probably. She's about the same nebulous age group as the player characters. So that's a little strange. The other thing that always has swerved the fuck out of me is they cast Kevin Hart as Roland, which, again, no offense to Kevin Hart. Funny man. But Kevin Hart is famously a short, high-pitched funny man. In Borderlands, Roland is a large man. He's a large boy. And he's kind of soft-spoken. He gets a little excited when you're doing, kill quotes and stuff when you're playing him in the first game. But when he gets a more fleshed-out character in 2, he's, pretty soft-spoken, and he's kind of a straight man. I don't really know what we're doing putting Kevin Hart in that role. I can't assume that we're either you're wasting Kevin Hart's abilities by having him play a straight man and not be funny, or you're wasting the character of Roland by just using it as a vehicle to put a AAA actor in there. I don't know. It's like I said, it just seems like a lot of really weird decisions are being made. Like Kate Blanchett is Lilith, and I'm like, okay, Kate Blanchett is cool. I don't. Lilith is kind of a more jokey character than Roland usually. I don't. It's just so weird. And they really want you to watch that movie though. They also had all these weird inserts for Gearbox University between every trailer or press bit, and I'm like, guys, come on, Devolver Digital already went today. You know you're following them up, right? You know that you're not going to be as weird and quirky as they are.
Yeah, can't devolve Devolver.
Yeah. And then they just didn't have a lot of games. Like they showed the exact same trailer for Tiny Tina's Wonderlands that was at Summer Games Fest. They did come back with like some interviews and stuff, but they were just showing all the same footage. They teased Homeworld 3 like 3 times. It was so weird. They like showed clips from the remastered collection and they're like, Homeworld 3 coming sometime. It was so bizarre. I like it's been a while, but I think that this was one of the few times and I've seen in a couple of recent years where that was a bad E3 stream. Like it was just confusing and nonsensical, and they didn't have a lot of games. It was just one of those moments where I'm like, guys, why did you bother? You could have saved so much money. You could have avoided sending Randy Pitchford, across international lines to go to Budapest or wherever where they're filming the movie. Not that I'm sure that was the point, because Randy Pitchford is kind of an eccentric dude, doing fucking magic tricks on stage and shit. And just like you could have not bothered all these actors, because there was a bit at the end where Randy Pitchford like hangs out with Kevin Hart very forcibly at the end. And just dropped some trailers and went home, guys. Like you already got your big announcement out about Tiny Tina because it was leaked. It was a weird one for me. I don't know why they went that route. I guess because it's E3's back and it's gonna be big, but like Sony fucking skipped it. They dodged it. They're like, nah. Like they had Kojima tease director's cut for Death Stranding at the Summer Game Fest stream, and then they said Jeff Keighley said at the end of that we'll find out more news very, very soon. I'm like, so when's that next PlayStation stream? Sometime in July, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, that's when that'll happen,
All right, I gotta pull up some fucking eye tutorials. Hang on a second here. How do I even draw? I don't even. Pixiv.
I feel like it's usually hands, but I feel like eyes are another thing. I don't draw. I'm not really good at art. I'm decent at like doodling abstract symbols.
I can do it.
I've filled college notebooks with just idle doodling to keep my hands busy. But usually I hear artists bitch about hands, but eyes could be up there. Eyes are part of the face. The face is another region. I usually hear artists be like, "How do I even face?"
Because I want to get started working on other Lucky here, but I'm just like, See, this is the problem. Here's the thing, guys. If you decide to start arting or whatever, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop for a day. Don't stop for a week. Don't stop for a month. When you do, because when you get back, you're gonna be like, how do I even?
Yeah, you gotta be careful about letting your skills atrophy. You gotta still flex your muscles.
Yeah, no, and I've forgotten everything. I'm just all like, how do I do this? It doesn't help at all.
Hopefully. You don't have to like literally relearn everything. You can just get your muscle memory back, but sometimes you do.
I might actually have to. Pixiv, you have a lot of tutorials, but they're all in Japanese.
That's correct. It's Pixiv. Oh. But yeah, so that's my impressions of day one of E3 so far. There are some cool games they got out there. There are still some E3 presentations are still weird, guys. That didn't change over the pandemic, even though it probably should have. People will still be weird. Let me see.
I do not want a YouTube video tutorial, please. Just... Ugh.
But tomorrow will be the big one for E3.
Well, for me, anyway.
And honestly, I think Nintendo's not for a couple of days, but
yeah.
The Sunday schedule is let's see. We've got the Xbox and Bethesda,
Xbox
which I
is
will probably have to watch. I will have to watch that back later because it's at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So I will probably be either asleep or still waking up when it gets started to take care of shit around the house. We'll see. But Square is that day as well.
excited for that.
There's also the usual PC gaming showcase, and apparently there will be a dedicated little slice of streams for Back 4 Blood. But there's two big ones with that Square Enix one, presumably being a big deal that we're both going to be interested in.
Yeah, they actually did talk about a little bit on what's going to be on there. I forgot it. Hang on, let me see if I can find the fucking little bit that I did. No, that is the wrong one. Let's see here.
Because we know that there was a leak or pre-announcement or something for a new Final Fantasy title.
Yeah.
Presumably they'll be showing that. We'll also probably get some more 16 news.
I just love how news outlets are like, they know the streams are coming, so it's like, here's how to watch it. I'm like, I know how to watch it. Why does everyone need to fucking tell me?
Because some people are brain dead enough to type how to watch E3 into Google and see what comes back. This is that SEO we're talking about. But let's see. So while Lucky's still looking it up, Monday looks like it's not going to be that interesting. I have a television, right? What? I like Take-Two. No. Yeah, it's an interactive panel. It's going to be an indie showcase for like 30 minutes, I think. But most of it looks like it's from smaller outlets and stuff. There is that Capcom thing, I guess. Like, that could be interesting. Capcom's going to do something on Monday for like 30 minutes. There could be some fun stuff in there.
Okay, yeah, okay. So here it is. Square Enix presents Summer 2021, Nexo, June 13th. See the world premiere of the new game by Eidos Montreal. Get an update on the exciting Babylon's Fall. Take a closer look at Life is Strange, True Colors, and more at our Square Enix Presents Summer Showcase.
Ooh, Eidos Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
Will it be Deus Ex 3?
That could be something.
Could be. Oh, yeah, that reminds me. I did skip a game in the 2K, which I should talk about just because it was also part of the weirdness. They talked a lot about Godfall, which is a game that did come out. It does exist. They are apparently backporting it to PS4. Originally, it was a PS5 launch game, but they are making a PS4 version. They're doing the reverse of everybody else. The two will be compatible, which is cool. They are apparently adding a matchmaking feature, which they didn't have before, giving me some Destiny vibes. And then they talked a lot about content they're going to do, and I talked about, I'm like, this must be what people who don't play Destiny hear when they hear about Destiny, because words are coming out of this guy's mouth. His lips are moving. I have no idea what he's saying. He's talking about, like, loots and high level, and they've got Lightbringer gear and Primal gear, and I'm just like, this is doing nothing to sell me on this game. This just makes it sound opaque as fuck. I don't know.
That's probably
that, and I gotta be real, the art style of that game is so weird. They showed some trailers, and I'm just like, are these dudes just in their armor constantly? I think so. I think everybody's just in armor all the time. And, like, yeah, sure, it's like cool armor. Like, there's this one recurring character in the trailers who's got like a wolf head armor. That's neat. That doesn't tell me anything about this game. I feel no reason to play Godfall because it looks like such a tech demo game, you know?
Mm-hmm. Kind of was, honestly.
It probably was, to be real. There are games like that. Sometimes they're cool. I remember playing Heaven's Sword back on the PS3, which was absolutely a tech demo game. You know, it was Andy Serkis did a lot of the work because there was a lot of mocap and shit, and it had really specific mechanics about the 6-axis controller.
Mm-hmm.
It was all right. It was kind of short, and, you know, honestly, like, it was God of War, but with a girl. Was basically how I describe the mechanics. It is okay. So, I mean, like, the Godfall game could be all right. It's just, it feels like it was trying to recapture a vibe in games like Destiny that I'm just like, eh. But who knows? Looter shooters aren't dead because they did say that Wonderlands will still be a looter shooter technically. but with fantasy vibes. It will still have guns though. But here we are. But I think for us, Tuesday will probably be more interesting because that will be Nintendo's gonna have their Treehouse stream.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna be super early. That's at 9 a.m. But also Bandai Namco is gonna have some time that day as well, which could be interesting. Who knows? Maybe they'll show some more off of the Demon Slayer game because that's by CC2 and they work with Bandai on all that stuff. So I'm sure they're producing it. But yeah, no, that's most of the E3 stuff. I'm sure we'll yell about all the rest of the news this week. If anything's very interesting, I mean, I'm sure there'll be stuff to say about Xbox and Bethesda. There's no way that getting Xbox and Bethesda together to do a press conference won't have stuff to talk about.
Do you think they're finally going to get that
good stuff? We don't know.
Will they finally get out that next Elder Scrolls?
Will we get a date on 6? Who the fuck knows?
I don't think we're going to get a date.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time, but you need something besides. Have they already announced this next gen for Skyrim? Skyrim has a next gen update. I feel like that's already happened.
It probably has.
If they haven't, absolutely they'll sell you Skyrim again, and you'll buy it, you animals. Well, actually, no. Thanks to backwards compatibility, I don't have to buy anything, so it'll probably just be a free update. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't think it will be as bad as the 2K, the Gearbox 2K one. And like I said, not like the Gearbox's presser was awful. It was just like, this seems really weird and like deliberately memey and not in a funny way. Just like in a you're trying way too hard because you don't have any games to show way. But somebody held you at gunpoint and made you go to E3, I guess. So Randy Pritchard's gonna go visit the set of the movie for like 15 out of our 30 minutes, and then we're gonna show you the trailer you've already seen because I guess we're here. Like it just seemed like very much like an obligation type thing that was very strange. But okay, I will leave Lucky to draw his eyeballs for a second, and he can yell at you on stream about that.
No.
Because I gotta go take a break real quick.
Oh god, I just don't know how to draw at all. I thought I was getting better at it. I'm not. I can probably put a little bit of blame on my tablet. My tablet's fucking old, y'all. It's fucking. What is this thing? It's an Intel 4. Actually, hang on. Let me look this up. How old is this fucking thing? Intel 4. When did this come out? 2009. This thing is 12 years old. God, I need a new tablet. I really need a new tablet. I need something. I probably need one of those ones that I can actually look at and see what I'm drawing instead of having this weird, have to stare at my computer screen and kind of do things that I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I'm actually like drawing on stream, because drawing on stream will actually force me to draw, I guess is the best way to put it. But maybe I should work on something else. But what? What should I draw? Oh. Fuck it, let's just doodle. Let us doodle and just try and get back a sense of what is to art. That's fun. So, let's see.
Okay, I'm back.
You back.
I see a hilarious comment in chat. Maybe we get Skyrim 2. Yeah, that would be funny. That would be funny if we got a Skyrim 2 before we got Elder Scrolls 6 officially. Though back in the day, I think it's reached such a meme status that people understand now that like there will be a next Elder Scrolls game and it will be separate. But But that was a joke about a Skyrim sequel. Like, a lot of people forgot that it was technically Elder Scrolls 5, because those games have been around a long time and are very spread out usually.
Yeah.
And I joke about them releasing Skyrim again. I understand why. Skyrim is actually a really good game that they've made, like, in the sense that it's, like, eminently playable.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like most Bethesda games, it's full of bugs and stuff, but, like, in general, it's a really fun game that you can just pick up and play for a little bit and wander around and just have a lot of fun with all the different Radiant Quest shit, the procedural generation, have fun, build a house. And shout out to, how is his name pronounced? Jeremy Soul or Soleil? I don't know. The composer for Skyrim. Top tier work. Great job.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to Skyrim ambience music to this day. Like, that's just, it's such a chill game. It's not a game I can afford to plug back in and play right now, though, because I got other shit to do. But yeah, it's up there. But let's see, what else do we want to talk about next? Well, we could switch to some unfortunate news if we want to discuss that.
Yeah, we could switch.
Because I got some other stuff in more normal news we can talk about, but there was something that did happen this week that I think caught both of us, but also a lot of people off guard.
Oh yeah,
and is probably worth discussing. So, yeah, where to start?
I don't know, man. I am hyper focused on trying to get something out here.
Okay, Lucky's working hard. I'll just wing it. So, I know it was Tuesday night that Kiryu Coco announced that she will be graduating from Hololive.
Mm-hmm.
The start of next month, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah, no.
I like how we both ummed at the same time. We don't have the words, even though it's been a few days. Yeah. I don't want to say that I like watched everything she did, but Coco absolutely got me into Hololive because of her English skills, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And just being a meme dragon. And I think that her success overseas absolutely launched Hololive English, right, Ian?
Oh yeah.
Which has been massively successful for them. So like it's a damn shame because she's good at what she does, and I like her. And it's interesting. It seems like it's an amicable parting, at least on the part of her and the agency. You know, like Cover released statements and talked about how they've done everything they can to try and like work through this, and the only conclusion was that Coco has decided to graduate and retire.
Probably seeing. Well, to me, that sounds that Coco from what I understand, it's that Coco probably wanted more swing, maybe profits out of what they.
Yeah, it's possible there could have been some contract renegotiation. I know she was #1 super chatted girl, as she says.
Yeah, and they maybe didn't want to necessarily give.
It could also be more about like creative control. I know that in the past, before she got really popular, she would kind of clash with like management sometimes on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in her own personal style.
Yeah.
And it could also be that just the act of streaming kind of got to her. Like, I know that she's had issues with like in English anyway. Her style of comedy is very vulgar.
Very.
To Japanese people, it's clearly very funny because they don't understand how intense motherfucker is. But we run a YouTube channel. That's the kind of thing that's very hard to monetize. And, you know, Coco would do things like put her flipping off the bird in Fallout form in a thumbnail and then wonder why YouTube's harsh on her buzz. Like, I'm starting to wonder if just, like, her way of expressing herself just kind of got too hard to do, you know, on YouTube and through the agency as well. And we may never know. Like, it certainly seems like she's still cool with all the other talent. You know, she's been doing a lot of collabs in the lead up to when she is actually going to graduate to retire.
From what I hear, she's still going to be living with Kanata. So.
Yeah, she's not moving out. And Kanata actually said on one of the collab streams they did recently that she, you know, really appreciates, you know, all the stuff that Coco has done, and that she wants to keep some of Coco's style of content alive, including meme reviews. And Coco said that she'd help Kanata with that. I don't know if that means that like it's a very interesting question, right? Because obviously, Kiryu Coco is a character design that Cover owns,
Yeah.
but is also a performance by the actress who portrays her. Does her mocap and voice, right? So, especially because she's so popular, I wouldn't be shocked if Cover like left the door open that she could like cameo on stuff, maybe do some freelancing for them.
Honestly, what probably like if I was to do it, it's the fact that they probably close her channel, but they allow her to use the rig on maybe a select few others and whatnot.
Right. Let her in for collabs, but don't do any more stuff on her channel. They'll close it down.
Yeah. That's the
they'll stop running. They did announce that while they will allow memberships to run for like a couple of extra months, they are going to close those eventually too.
Yeah.
They opened a special time period because this is, I think, the only time somebody has graduated from Hololive in not a sudden way. Like it happened with 5th generation's Aloe, but that was a like clearly a very unfortunate, slightly nasty breakup by circumstance where like a lot of unfortunate stuff happened like right after she premiered, and then she had to go on ice out, and the only way to like get out of it was just like, all right, well, we can't. The well's been poisoned. We need to like go our separate ways now, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is obviously like, hey, we know in a big build-up that we're having talent retire from this position. She's leaving the company, so like they opened a special thing for like sending gifts and thank yous and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Twitter has been
I don't know.
exploding.
There could also always be the maybe Coco's got a new opportunity. I don't know if this is like an industry secret or something, but I heard this from my friends who are experts in Hololive more than I am. That I believe it was 5th gen's Polka. Her actress used to work with another VTuber agency, and then very very shortly after that character left that agency, Hololive's Next Generation was announced with Polka in it. So it seems very clear like Cover probably scouted this talent and then brought her over after she decided to leave the other agency. So I don't know, like it could be that kind of thing, Like maybe Coco found different business opportunities. I would certainly hope that she can like stay on in like some kind of behind the scenes capacity, like helping out the other Hololive girls, because I know that like Coco has obviously been very driven about the work, right?
Right.
Done a lot of heavy lifting herself, trying a lot of new content, being supportive of others. I do also know that like she's been under a lot of stress for no goddamn reason, because of the Chinese antis and stuff. So much so that YouTube eventually like, I'm not gonna say it was just Coco, but she was very high on their super chats number. So I'm sure that her complaining about the fact that there was a lot of bot spams in her chat was not unheard by YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But YouTube features changed to like actually work on that problem. So I know it's interesting. I know that Coco has her own personal channel and stuff. So I think the real question here is like if you see her like personal private moonlighting endeavors like pick up after this retirement, that means that it was probably a thing where just like either specifically her identity as Kiryu Coco or something with the way corporate was working with her, she decided she wasn't into anymore. And if her private channel doesn't really pick up, that probably means that it was related to like she's just getting tired of the business. Burnout is real, guys. Actually, like take this seriously, especially if you're in creative endeavors yourself. You can absolutely get burned out doing this crap. And it's rough when you give yourself like 110%, especially like we're not big streamers. Like obviously we stream What's Up, that can be several hours long. I still stream 2 or 3 hours every week as well. Back when you would stream gameplay and stuff for the channel, you could go as long as like 7 or 8 hours because you're a lunatic.
Yeah.
You can't really do that right now because you have a 9 to 5 and you have other shit to focus on. You've talked before about why you're not streaming right now.
Yeah.
But like when you're mostly a streaming creator and you're streaming for like 4 hours a day minimum every day, sometimes the Hololive girls are like streaming 6 or 8 hours a couple of times a day kind of shit. Being still asleep and not waking up to come to their streams kind of stuff. Like it can be stressful.
Oh yeah.
So I like a lot of people, there's been a huge outpouring of positive support for Coco in this time. and she's gone out of her way to be like, don't be sad, smiles everybody. It's not. I mean, obviously we can be like, it is actually sad though, but she's kind of like talking about it like it's not meant to be a sad thing. Like it's just stuff that happens.
It's like one of those things. Everything ends eventually, people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one of those things that you have to. It sucks, but that's how it be.
Yeah.
I don't even fucking know how to do hair.
And this was kind of striking news for me because we started telling this story. This was Tuesday night that this came out on a little video stream that Coco did. Which it happened right in the tail end of my D&D game. Which speaking about those people I know, my friends I've got who know more about Hololive lore and shit. That's those guys. Those guys are my D&D group. My dungeon master is Vesper, who is very into VTubers, one of our original VTuber animals that kind of collectively dragged our greater Discord community, if not a majority of it, kicking and screaming into the VTuber age. But so that now we were like winding down the session, and we'd already been going very long because we'd had some sporadic and short sessions before, so we were like, we actually got some decent combat encounters in. We were doing stuff, doing some dungeoning. We were already on the last encounter of the night, but it was absolutely like all the fun has been sucked out of this right now. Let's just roll these last couple of dice and finish it up, and we did. And that was it for the night. We were not doing anything more. And I know that there was people started discussing it in our WebVids channel, though they discussed it like animals without like detail. Like somebody was just like, hey, is anybody else watching Coco? And then there were just like a lot of like two word like oh or ooh or no or sad face, and I'm like I tabbed over from playing D&D. We're in the middle of the fight with some zombie adventurers or whatever, trying not to get stabbed, and I tabbed over back to our Discord and I was like, guys, can you speak in complete thoughts, please? Like obviously they're having an emotional response too, but I'm like, I have no context what's going on, actually. Can you speak like humans? But yeah, no, that's when it came out. Coco's gonna retire. It's sad.
It is sad.
Kanashi. Like I know we just had that conversation about how all smiles and stuff, but no, it is sad. It's a shame.
Listen, you can cry while smiling.
And like I said, I've just seen a huge outpouring from all corners about it. I've seen several of the other Hololive girls, like an EN, talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that this week, is it actually tonight? Because like I said, it's not like a sudden cutoff. It's not like she's like fallen ill or something and has to stop work. It's like it's a very obviously planned retirement with a road going up to a month. But I think it's tonight is going to be it is scheduled for 11 p.m. tonight. Reddit shitpost review with Amelia Watson. Like busting out all the stops, getting all the work out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, okay, that's our talks on stuff there. Let's see. Yeah, about an hour. Well, that's probably a good time to transition to something else.
Oh, okay.
As Lucky continues to add details to things.
I don't know what I'm doing, man.
I mean, you say that, but I have seen worse, more abstract drawings that I myself have done. I can tell, like, okay, you got ears, you got eyes, you got the shape of a face, slightly pointy chin, you got bangs, you got an idiot hair. Like, you've got a plan here. There's a thing here. It's recognizable. It has features. You've done an anime nose, I think. It's hard to tell while you've still got the face, like, cross line on it. But it's something. You've got at least a line to mark where his nose should be.
Mm-hmm.
Something. You're working on it. But no, I mentioned earlier that I was, and honestly, I've been talking a lot, so I haven't actually been playing a lot of Hades, but I have been playing Hades. So I can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, talk about Hades.
So Hades has absolutely exactly as I thought has become my I'm going to bed game. Oh, I'll do one run before bed. The Switch is great for that. It's always been a favorite game system. Like, I do play it on my TV occasionally, but a lot of the time, late at night, I'll lay in bed and pop it out in mobile and play it. And that is, like, 100% of how I've played Hades. I don't think I've played it, like, docked on my TV at all. But I've been playing decently amount. Shockingly, I think I'm okay at the game. I managed to beat Meg, the first boss, on my second run, and oh, actually no, I made it to Meg on my second run. I beat her on like run 6. That's the proper way to phrase that. So like it's it's all right. Then you kind of get to like I plateaued at Asphodel for a while, and just now I've just started getting like consistently good enough at knowing what boons I want and how to use all my weapons and shit that I've managed to make it to the final stage, the Temple of Sticks, a couple of times now. Like I can actually like for a long time I was like deadlocked at either barely making it to the end boss of Asphodel or like making it to the first couple of rooms into Elysium and then dying, for a long time. But now I've raised that up and I've actually made it to the final stage a couple of times. I have not yet seen the final boss, the quote unquote final boss. I guys, Hades has been out a couple of years. I understand that it's an iterative game. You keep doing runs even after you quote unquote beat the game. But I have not yet beaten that part because the Temple of Sticks is kind of annoying. Closed spaces, a new poison debuff, a little annoying. But I'm having a lot of fun. My personal favorite weapons is I'm actually kind of surprised, but I really like the range choices. I've had a lot of fun and a lot of success with the bow connacht and the gun, the exogryph. I don't know. I guess just keeping your enemies at arm's length just feels better to me in these kind of games,
Mm-hmm.
And I've had a lot of success doing that. Out of the other weapons I also really like using the spear. The shield is okay too, though I find it kind of a little slow the way the shield works. Spear's usually pretty good though. And I know how to use the fists and the sword, but I don't think I prefer them overall. They're okay. Like I don't think I dislike them. It's just like every weapon has a different strategy, which is a really good feature they have. Like I like that a lot. That every weapon has a really distinct playstyle,
Oh yeah.
But I feel way more comfortable keeping enemies at a distance and using the mobility the game clearly wants you to use because you've got like backstabs and stuff. So playing that fast and loose game with short range weapons usually gets me beat up a lot. But I knew this because we talked about the game before. Lucky's obviously played it. He gosh, I think did you play it during a What's Up? I don't remember if you actually recorded it though.
I don't remember.
You've streamed it to Discord before. You've played the game. You've talked about it. Like, it is actually. I knew that it is actually like iterative. Like, you get the. Is it actually called Blessings of Night? You get the purple goo, and you go to your purple goo mirror, and you get better at the game. And I think the game actually has a decent enough mechanic with the way the runs work and the economy of it all works, right? With all the different currencies that like, yeah, you do have to actually choose to invest in stuff. And for instance, I honestly, I probably plateaued because I went out of my way to try and unlock the weapons, which can be pretty costly on keys, as opposed to upgrading the mirror. Because if you go a couple tiers down in the mirror, you start to get shit like, hey, more starting max life and other shit like that. Hey, passively generate money, which is actually like pretty wild. That's something that I always thought was kind of annoying was the way obols, just coins worked, was like I would very often see Chiron shops and be like, I only have like $50. It's not worth it to go to that map. I would really love to have enough coins to go to the shop, but I don't. And I don't know. That's probably a playstyle thing. Like I personally prioritize going for boons over treasure usually, unless I'm like pretty set on boons. Then I'm like, okay, I don't really need like one of those weird niche boons. When you've got all your basics covered, like call, dash, cast, etc. I'm like, okay, we can get some coins, we can get some gems. We can get some gems so we can buy more rugs, and Dad can yell about how he doesn't like the color of the new rug I chose.
Too bad, Dad.
He can complain about how I bought a nice rug for my room, and he's like, if only you had tasted things other than rugs. He can't even knock the rug. It's great. Or when you buy a bed for Cerberus, he's like, the dog was perfectly fine as he was.
Yeah, but I love my dog.
But he's great. There's a button to give him pets. I love that you go to the top level, like the final level is the Temple of Sticks. You go to and you meet Cerberus, and Zagreus is like, all right, Cerberus, I understand. It's time for us to finally do this. No, I'm just kidding. You need some help, right? I'll go kill some rats or something. Like, that's adorable. Like, obviously, the dog still won't move to get out of your way, but no, they don't make you fight the dog. And then if you inevitably die in the Temple of Styx, the final area, Cerberus isn't there when you get back because he hasn't had time to fucking walk back yet. No, the game's pretty fun. I like a lot of the dialogue and the characters, you know. The art style is really, really good. The deliberate action they've taken to make everybody hot is nice, but there's a lot of fun aspects in a lot of the characters you meet. You hang out, you know, you give people gifts, you build up strength and stuff. There's a lot of funny characters.
I love Dusa.
Medusa's great, yeah. Just the floating Medusa head, who's the maid. She gives you a harpy feather duster, which is adorable. I usually just use Skelly's tooth though. The extra Death Defiance is so great, especially when buying more Death Defiances is fucking expensive. Oh my god. Also, yeah, I do actually prefer Death Defiance to Stubborn Defiance. I like multiple tries on hard boss fights rather than one try per room. That has absolutely gotten me killed sometimes in like the later stages, but that's just how I like it better, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially once, like I said, you can start buying more max life. The game has a lot of little systems, and I like it a lot, like switching talents to different things. I don't try a lot of the alternate talents, but some of them are pretty cool. You know, you could do different stuff. I like how diverse boons are. Like, obviously, I think every Olympian you can meet has a boon that works with all of your basic button commands, right? Like,
Right.
you know, everybody has a version of their boon, their status affecting your basic attack, your current special, your dash, your cast, and your call. And I definitely have preferred. It should shock nobody just from general gameplay style and also being me. Love Athena's boons. Always great. Deflect is rad. If possible, I will always secure that Athena dash. I think, honestly, the only thing that Athena's maybe the weakest at is call, because that just makes you faster and invulnerable for a little bit, you know, and deflective. As opposed to, like, Zeus call or Poseidon call is like throwing lightning bolts and waves at dudes that fuck them up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's pure defensive, but there's a lot of other fun stuff. I really like the upgrades that like Dionysus and Artemis have for cast. You know, your special ranged attack. Like Artemis's becomes a seeking arrow, and Dionysus has that AoE effect.
Mm-hmm.
I've also gotten lucky, and I've gotten the duo boon for that a couple of times with Zeus. So it makes the festive fog also spit lightning at people. That's rad. That's good. Duo boons are pretty great. A lot of extra effects there. I've actually discovered that I think I don't like, even though Aphrodite has a lot of good boons, I don't think I like her cast because it's a short range wave, and I'm like, no, cast is not for short range. Cast is to throw things way the fuck over there. But that's just my playstyle. Like I said, I have gotten pretty far in this game, and the way I prefer it is to be like, no, weird dead guys, stay away from me, get away, shoo, get back,
you.
Yeah. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of Poseidon boons. Like, I like the fact that his are all knockback based. Like, that's cool. I feel like everybody has a strategy. It's really neat. I like how Hermes, for instance, is like completely different. Like, he does not follow the same rule of boons. His effects are all just like, hey, you run faster. Hey, you attack faster. You know, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, one of his boons that I love is side hustle. Hey, you just make more money when you go in chambers. You know. Lots of other little things. I love the detail. I am a little sad that they don't get all 12 Olympians in there. I do. Spoilers. I know that Demeter comes in later. You have to you have to actually clear the game before you can get Demeter boons. It makes sense if you understand the mythology, which I do. But I'm kind of disappointed there's no Apollo. You know. And while they do have the Daedalus hammers, there's no Hephaestus either. And there's no Hestia, which I think is a shame because canonically I believe that Hestia used the machine gun. I believe that's the canon, is that was her weapon during the Titanomachy, which is fucking great. I'm like, I don't know if this is in Supergiant style, really. I'm kind of holding out hope for, like, maybe a DLC where they add some new gods with some new boons and maybe some new variations and stuff. Like, that would be cool. I haven't even beat the game and I'm already asking for DLC, guys. But in general, I really like it. Like, I like all the mythology gags. You know, the art style is really cool. And for being a roguelike game, like, no, it doesn't feel super annoying. A unlike Returnal, you can quit and save your run anytime. It auto saves every room, so if you're like, oh shit, I gotta go get some food, or oh shit, I have to go feed the cats, I can just be like, all right, quit run, come back later. And it's a good game. If you have not picked it up yet, I highly recommend it. And the Switch version is perfectly fine. Like, I've had a lot of fun playing it. It's mapped to the buttons pretty well. It's not an awkward control scheme. It runs perfectly fine. Everything's a-okay. Lucky, it's been a while since you've played Hades, but do you have anything to add about your own thoughts and feelings about Hades?
No, like, I've always thought Hades was fine. It's just, unfortunately, I was playing Hades before, like, I know this is gonna sound like the most hipster fucking thing ever. I was playing Hades before it got popular, and then I was thinking about getting back into it again, and then it got super fucking popular, and everyone's like, oh my god, Hades! And I'm just all like, alright, my enthusiasm has been utterly fucking killed to play this game. Because...
Yeah, honestly, I think that's how I kind of felt. Like, I only started to slowly get around to it because, even though it's, like, obviously way after Hades' peak, OSP started streaming it, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we talked about it, and I kind of wanted to get the physical edition because, one, it's a great game to play on Switch, and I'm like, oh no, this is perfect. I want this game on my Switch, you know?
Yeah.
And when you buy the physical copy, it comes with a tiny art book of everybody.
Tiny art.
A little illustration of everybody. Like, no, it's literally tiny. It's a fucking size of like an old school like Game Boy manual or DS manual, so it fits in the game case. But it's got everybody's like artwork in there, which is cool. Because the art in this game is great. But yeah, no, it's rad.
So
And
like
maybe now that it's cooled off, you can find time to go back to it. Oh wait, we don't have time.
No, eternally
What
out
is
of
time?
But
Yeah, but I'm glad it's an easy game to like pick up and put down, you know?
yeah. So what was I gonna say? Yeah, so because like yeah, when it was in the top period, everyone would be talking about the runs and how far they got, and unfortunately, I'm not the greatest at roguelikes. I'm really not. And just hearing people being like, oh yeah, like, yeah, I got like, this far, my first, like, or second run. I know the people I accused of was like, no, I didn't, but I remember. Listen, the human remembers the negative things way easier than the positive things.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm like, I'm not that good. Like, one of our friends was like, oh, in my second run, I beat the game. I'm like, I got to the first boss in my second run. It still took me like 3 or 4 tries to beat her.
Mm-hmm. So... Yeah, no, but yeah, no, I'll probably try and get back into it.
And I mean, if you want to do just story stuff, I have not used it so far, but I feel like if I plateau too hard, I might. But there is I don't know if this was in the OG version, but there is a feature called God Mode, which is just, it gives you flat damage reduction, and every time you die while it's turned on, your damage reduction scales by like 2%. So you start up taking 20% less damage, and then every time you die, it increases a little. And that's what sold me on buying the game for sure. I'm like, okay, so if I find this too hard, I can always just turn on this feature and like gradually ramp up so I can keep up with the game getting harder, and I can still progress the story because that's what I'm really interested in. So that's a cool feature I think they added later. But yes, Hades, good actually. Shocking nobody.
Shocking.
Won some awards.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't really have any further news to talk about on there.
No, neither do I.
Though I will say I do have one slight issue with the game in terms of mechanics, which is because it's random rooms. There are NPCs that you can meet like on every floor, right?
Right.
Which includes subplots and stuff. I don't like that. As far as I can tell, that's not guaranteed. Like, they don't force you to get that per run, so you can do a whole ass run for like 60 minutes or more and never see like Sisyphus or Eurydice or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I got to like Elysium like 3 or 4 times before I met the character who is very obviously Patroclus, because I know the spoilers of the game already. And I get obviously maybe why, because those characters, when you meet them, are just net positives. Like, they always just give you something without a fight and whatever. But they're also part of like subplots and story stuff, guys. Come on. Until I get Orpheus back his muse, he won't play music. He'll just complain about how sad he is. But yeah, that's my only like the way that the dialogue system is all like 1 per run is the only thing I think that bothers me. But I mean, the game's not that complex in terms of those mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, if I really wanted to do over, like, I could just climb out my window and go die. Said everybody. But that's rad. Okay. Well, I can report on the other game I've been playing a decent amount of.
Oh,
Not as much as I wanted because we've been beating Lost Boat 4 this week. We had to shoot that 5-hour show we talked about that's not live yet. Scroll back to when we started the stream if you want to get that news. But I have still been working on Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. I can say today that I have beat the main game finally.
yay!
It was as cool as I thought. There is still the extra DLC stuff that I was added related to the Boruto movie, but I'm sure that won't take me long. Hopefully, I can knock that out really quick before I go to bed tonight, and I can clear that all off my backlog. And then it's Mass Effect time, baby! Finally. Now, obviously, I probably could go in for Integrated and Integrate's cool, but I'm not feeling it right now. I'm not in for it. I've been doing a lot of stuff lately. I wanna finally get to my Mass Effect. It's been sitting there for literally weeks. It's been like a month, I think. But yeah, the Ninja Storm 4 is still pretty good. It hits all the right emotional beats. The climax when you do the whole big, super long fight with Naruto and Sasuke, where it does all the flashbacks to all their fights, ending on them fighting as baby children. Nah, it's still good. It still hits. It's a little funny though that clearly they didn't rig models of Naruto and Sasuke with only one arm, so they just dipped their arms that got blown off in black graphics. They de-rendered them, so they're very clearly still on the model. They're just blacked out. They're like, pretend these aren't here. They're not real. But yeah, no, it's a good ending. Feels good. And so that'll probably be the end of my Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm Journey release. I was absolutely right when people are talking about it's the best way to blah 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 Naruto. They're absolutely talking about 3 and especially 4 because man, 4's got all the best improved weird gameplay, all the best QTEs and shit. They have a way better mechanic for doing story content where yes, it does get harder and enemies are still annoying, but they have a built-in continue system where instead of 2 and 3 had a system where before the battle you could eat bento boxes to improve your stats and also heal your HP when you were in the overworld. There's no overworld at all in 4 by default. You have to do that. The adventure mode is all post-game shit. And when you lose a fight in 4, you get to either pick restart the battle with your HP filled to the enemy's HP in the same spot and increase your attack or increase your defense. Whatever you think is hurting you, you're not doing enough damage to them or just you're dying too fast. I am slightly annoyed that I feel like the final enemies do cheat a little too much. You can't do fun things with them. In the last couple fights, with Kaguya, you can you get access to high, the last forms of Sasuke and Sakura, and you do the whole big team thing, and you have access to the team special move. But every fucking time I filled the team gauge, which takes a long time, and tried to do the special support, Kaguya was just like, "No, I'm not here," or "No, I'm gonna do the special attack where I turn invincible," or "No, I'm gonna shoot everybody with bone spikes." And I'm like, "Just let me do the cool thing, game! Damn you! Damn your eyes!" I did get to do when it was just Naruto and Sasuke, though. I did get the team special off to do the reverse harem no jutsu and then punch her. Which is a move because it actually happened and it's pretty fun. But yeah, no. The games are goo. If I don't think they're on sale anymore, but keep your eye out for them. Pick them up if you haven't. It's a great way to experience stuff. And I'm sure my Mass Effect experience will probably be interesting because it'll be my first time ever playing Mass Effect 1. Because that was only on Xbox, and then they did port it to PC eventually, but that was back in the day before I had PC that runs games. So I just missed it entirely. So it'll be really interesting to go back and check that out, and especially now that they've fine-tuned the gameplay, because I know that the gameplay of 1 was still a little rough, still a little jank, Yeah. Wasn't quite perfected, so that'll be fun to see what they've done. Catch up with these characters, start building choices. Make different choices? No, I'm not going to make different choices. I'm going to shove guys out windows. I'm going to interrupt speeches. I may or may not punch that reporter. But, yeah, okay. Let's see. I think that's all that. Now, I don't know, Lucky, if you've got the brain space to discuss it right now, but I did see you talking about anime and stuff earlier today. Have you been watching some stuff, perhaps?
Yeah. Um, Mostly been on the hype train about actually, can I be in here? About actually, what if I made it a fucking horn? 86. Which I really do will highly recommend to people to go watch. They like I know I sold you a little bit on it before Omega, but so
It's in my ever increasing backlog of shit to watch.
yeah. But the well, you might think like when you first see it, it's like it's a one of those mecha animes about look at all these guys gonna shoot all these stuff, and it's like no, 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 it's actually about character interactions and prejudice slash racism, all on the scale of conversations between people, because that's
As you do.
yeah, basically two sides of a conflict talking to each other, and at no point do these people ever talk face to face, and it's kind of amazing. And what I find like the most astounding is like these the first course is only 11 episodes, and like I said, this is one of the things we were actually talking about. We're not actually sure where it's going to end, but the all like this is a light novel that has, I don't know, like 7-8 volumes out. This entire anime series has taken place, this first course has taken place just in the first book.
That's a spicy adaptation. Wow, they're taking their time with that material. That's good.
Yeah, no. Uh so yeah, they've taken some liberties. They've expanded on some things. They've edited out some things, but they've definitely taken the time in this anime to flesh out things that you can only really flesh out when it's through a visual medium. Like I was talking with someone earlier about during episode 9, the entire almost back half of that episode is something new to the adaptation, but when you see it, it gets you in the feels. And same with this week's episode, which is something that's not to which is original to the anime, but at the same time it doesn't feel out of place. I think it's
they're expanding on the material. Presumably, they are working with the original author to like know what stuff is happening that was off screen originally to work with, and expanding what they've got going on.
Yeah,
always a good thing to see.
So
And in terms of adaptation, just really quick, always a true joy when they like do that extra step and they're like, oh, we're visual now, we can expand.
Yeah. So like again, I do like highly recommend people checking it out. It's one of those things. It's one of those ones that kind of make, like I said, it's one of those animes that make you want to think a bit. But yeah, no, like I said, with this first core, they said there is a second core. So like me and people have been talking. It's like, where are they gonna stop? Where are they gonna end? Are they actually gonna end the first core at the end of the first book and then move on from there? Or are we going to maybe leave us up at a cliffhanger? Because this episode, again, like I said, original, actually at the back half was just almost a flashback through the eyes of a character you weren't expecting, and it got to me. I was like, no, these are tears. My face is very salty right now, and it was good. Like I said, like when this comes out on Blu-ray, I might pick it up. Like I'm like,
Ooh.
It's like
Yeah, I'll definitely have to catch it up when I feel like I got the times.
mm. But other than that, I really haven't been talking with a lot of people, but I have been completely in love with the Saint's Power is Omnipotent, which is how do I want to hang on? How do I want to call this? Because I don't want to seem sexist. I want to guess is the best way to put it. But when you're reading stories, you can always tell a style when a guy is writing a story and a woman is writing a story. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, no, there can be definite kind of markers in the phrasing.
Yeah.
It cuts both ways, Sometimes you're like, gee, this is a story about really personal women things that are happening that this dude is writing somewhere. You know, that the fact that you can tell the difference can kind of cut both ways.
Yeah. Like, ow. Like I said, first off, I'm gonna say this. I really do like Saint Women, but it's like a girl gets transported to another world, and is super OP, and is surrounded by hot men everywhere. But only really has the hots for one, and while and the thing I like about it is, while themes never are necessarily dire around her, things are still happening. Like, she's hanging out nice and safe in the kingdom, but her hot men go out, to fight battles, come back wounded, and she's like, "Oh no, heal!" But it's a very real experience. Like, you're like, "Oh God, no!" It's very emotional, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, and like it's interesting though. I don't think it sounds sexist when you say it now. Like, given you give context about like you can tell the difference because like that setup, that's just every like isekai harem setup anyway.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm surrounded by beautiful people of the opposite sex, but I only care about usually one of them, if at all. Sometimes protagonists of harems and so on are really really fucking dense.
Yeah, no.
But like, there's also definitely some like different context. Like if you're talking about like having a lot of like emotional weight and stuff.
Yeah, like it's like usually because it's very well written. Like, honestly, like I'm actually interested in actually picking up the light novel at some point to see it, because there's a lot of effort into her relationships emotionally with people, like, and how she relates to people. Like, Sei, as she is, very quickly gets attached to a how's the best way to like, basically the alchemy department. She finds out she really likes making potions, and she bonds with the boss and one of her coworkers, and they basically become like almost like the family to her. She saves the life of X1 hot commander dude, and that becomes her love interest. But then she starts meeting other people and stuff, and you can clearly see like what kind of relationships we have with them. When guys write these things, it's usually relationships are just all over the fucking place, especially in harem isekai settings. It's like, God.
This is a very common trope that some writers unfortunately fall back on, about this idea that guys and girls can't just be friends.
Yeah, no.
Which is not necessarily true.
Yeah,
you can just be friends with a woman.
Yeah.
And not have it be a romance thing.
And St. Powers Omnipotence, like, yeah, no, there's all these super hot guys around here, but she cares for them each in their own individual way. Like her boss is kind of this like kind uncle character, and then her coworker, she's like a brother or a cousin. She has a weird, magic instructor who, is a little bit creepy and has his own agenda, but is safe. Is safe. Then you have her love interest brother, who's very emotionalist and cool, but is very caring at the same time. And I was like, no, I like this. Not everyone has to be a goddamn love interest, but everyone can still be fucking beautiful. And I'm like, this is nice. I really like it. I'm kind of rambling here, but
no, I think you're doing a good job. I get the feeling you're projecting out of this series. It's an interesting take. It's slightly different than how a lot of these things are, because let's be real. There is a cookie cutter dime a dozen version of the isekai story.
Listen,
but a lot of the benefits of the genre comes out in the individual writing styles and elements, and
yeah,
there are a lot of it before isekai kind of put a new spin on it as the big hip thing. And not all isekais are harems, but generic harem anime, especially slice of life stuff, was one of the really big previous like lowest common denominator genres. Like, I remember in the 2000s decade, that was the big thing, was like, oh, everything is just slice of life harem rom-coms. And a lot of them were kind of schlocky and not actually different from each other.
No,
because that's how the market trends go.
Yeah.
And we've kind of branched out a lot, and obviously yes, there are a lot of very samey isekai stories, but they can be unique in their own way. And I get what you mean. Like you're talking about like how the author is doing different things than is typical and kind of you know
Yeah.
playing with a few different functions.
Yeah, because like to go the other route, I recently picked up a light novel that I have been destroying reading because it amuses me that much. But what is it called? I can't remember the exact name. Its short name is Yusho, but it's something like I was summoned to another world as a hero, but the world's at peace. And it is the most harem fucking isekai I have ever read, but it's completely and utterly shameless about it. I think it's the best way I can put it.
I always love when the author is like, "Yeah, I know what I'm ripping off. I know I'm not doing anything original. I don't give a fuck."
Yeah, no, they're completely like that. It's like the author constantly has afterwards is like, she just showed up. Why is she a heron already? And author's just all like, I do what I want. And that's what I think is great about it is, yes, no, this dude is completely average. He has no OP powers. He's kind of bland, but wherever he goes, the weirdest fucking shit just happens for no goddamn reason. Um, and usually it ends up with him with another woman falling in love with him for some odd reason. Now, the thing I like about it is sometimes it's actually a really good reason, and sometimes it's just fucking just weird as fuck. I don't think I really need to give any examples, but where was I going with this? I'm literally like waving my tablet pen around here trying to talk about this.
You were talking about how you've been devouring this light novel series.
Yeah, I've been devouring it just because again, like it's not really like it has good writing. Like that's what I'll say. It actually has decent writing, but not necessarily deep writing, I guess is the best way to say it. Cause there's an overarching story, but it's still very slice of life. We're slowly reaching the finale as this man just kind of strolls through life picking up flags wherever he may go. And they justify things oddly enough. Like polygamy is okay in the other world, and they said it's like, yeah, no, there's just like there are way more women than men, so it just makes sense that men would just have multiple wives. I'm just like, okay, that's kind of a stretch, but okay, why not? Sure, cool, go for it.
Whatever, you've acknowledged the trope and you're moving on, and you're like, fuck it, I explained it. What more do you want? I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know, and that's one of the thing. It's like, yeah, no, I have reasons for that, and if you don't like those reasons, what the fuck up? What the fuck ever? Go on, move on. And
that's actually an interesting point we brought up in a greater conversation in Let's Talk yesterday about where like you as the reader can always like the consumer of media, you can always be like, no, that's too far for me, and put it down.
Yeah. And just like move.
Nobody is forcing you to buy light novels and read them.
Yeah.
Or watch anime or whatever.
So, and like I said, it resonates with me because like the main character is just an average dude. You know, he has an interesting power that lets him do interesting stuff, which is another reason why he can just pick up flags like nobody's tomorrow. He has something called like sympathy magic, which lets him basically read surface emotions on people. So like, one of his early capture targets was a girl named Isis. She is basically the incarnation of death, I guess it is. She just, wherever she goes, she just radiates the power of death. It doesn't actually kill people. It's just people feel, that ever-present feeling of death and dying. So, a lot of people are just super fucking afraid of her. And, she's super fucking lonely. And, just through random fucking happenstance for reasons not, well, that does get explained, but also, at the moment, it's just really fucking random. The two meet, and through his magic, he's like, no, oh no, this girl's actually really fucking lonely. So even though I feel like I am going to fucking die right now, I'm going to try and, be a normal ass fucking person to this woman instead of running away in terror. And because he is the only one to ever fucking do that, she just has how they put it, her affection meter went to the max. And I'm just like, this is a little
classical trope.
Yeah, a little contrived, but at the same time, like, I don't think it necessarily breaks anything. It's like,
I mean, it's not. That's always the the classic concept of the franchise original sin. It's not like other writers haven't done it just as bad and arguably less bold faced.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm like, yeah, this is like, I'm like, no, this is fine. This is great. And it's like, I'm like, actually, I'm in chapter semi here. I'm like at 600 something. I think I only started this at the beginning of the week either. So they're not long chapters, but still.
Yeah, I have not yet gone on a reading. Well, okay, technically I did go on a reading binge. It was called Lost Book, but that really sucked up a lot of time in this week.
Is this a guy? Is this a girl? I don't even fucking know.
Catching up on...
I diddled something. I don't know what the fuck this is. I just stopped and actually looked.
It's got 2 eyes, 2 ears. Well, wait, 1 ear technically. You haven't drawn the other. Definitely got a nose, and got a mouth. Very mouth.
Bah. Well, now I'm just gonna make it weird. Just bleh. Is it drooling? Is it blood? I don't fucking know. But yeah, no. So actually, I'm probably gonna look more into it because again, I really like it. Oh, let's see. What else have I been watching? Shadow's House. I think there's an S in there. It's good. I haven't watched this week's. Still have not started watching My Hero Academia. I don't know. I don't think I'm into it anymore.
Yeah, I'm sure when I think they're getting towards some more payoff for stuff. I need to catch up as well. I just have not had time.
Mm-hmm.
And my backlog of shit I need to watch grows ever longer.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it earlier, I think, but the Disney Plus Loki show is out now. Like the first episode's come out, and a lot of people have said it's good, and I'm like, I should check that out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I talked about this the other day as well, but so OSB has a new series they're doing called Detailed Diatribe, where it's like a trope talk, but instead of being a trope applied many examples, it's one example, the deep dived, basically.
Oh, okay.
How they sold it on the podcast. They've done a couple of these. The first one they did as a test is they kind of broke down about like the first one was Samurai Jack's training montage at the start, like just the whole thing leading up to how that story starts. And then the other one they did was talking about like parallel character development arcs, but it was related to the reboot She-Ra cartoon that's on Netflix. And like Red obviously very very much loves this cartoon, but she's used it as trope examples a lot. But I'm like, okay, you're really selling me on this. There's like 5 seasons. I should probably watch this show sometime. It's on Netflix, right? Yeah. So I'm like, my backlog of shit to read and watch only grows, as with everything else. Hopefully, I'll find some free time to chip away at all that stuff.
Yeah, no, like right before we started recording, Onisan Bomber just released a book not too long ago. Because, like I said, I discovered after I started watching Hige Hero that I kind of might have a thing for the fucking, the Salaryman XJK genre. So I picked up their latest book, I Met You After the End of the World. It's post-apocalyptic, but now there's a Salaryman and a JK involved, so I'm like, okay, sure. Let's do it. Because I like it. And again, I gotta go start picking up more of the novels of 86. Like I already have it unordered, but apparently it's popular for reasons, and I'm not gonna be able to get it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like, that's always a thing. If you got a good anime series, you drive up those light novel sales.
No,
you're selling out.
Also, I might have also like bought like 200 like fucking lewd anime stickers because I found out you can just fucking buy them on Amazon. I was like, okay, I'm doing this.
Yeah, no, Amazon will sell you some shit. Ever since I bought some volumes of Plus Size Elf, Amazon occasionally is like, yo, dog, you want to try Interspecies Reviewers or maybe the Monster Girl Encyclopedia? I'm like, wow, damn, Amazon, you nasty.
I like it, but yeah, no, I get that all the time. And then I get the racier ones because there is just fucking just hentai up on Amazon. I'm like, I don't need that. But
yeah, there's that, and there's also there's like I've seen it, there's a lot of like what do you call it, like Kindle or ebook like erotica, just cheap bodice ripper shit out there as well.
Yeah, no,
with the covers you would expect.
Like honestly, I might have
people living their best lives,
I'm not judging. Fuck. Listen, I have 4. Like, is it 4? Yeah, I have like 4 volumes of Interspecies Reviewers on my shelf. I have volumes 1 and 2 of the My Monster Girl Encyclopedia. It's like I throw no stones. It's like I know what I'm about. But let's see. What did I order anything interesting off Amazon? Did I? I bought loot stickers.
Well, personally, I didn't buy it, but I did Amazon is trying to get me to pick up The World of Cyberpunk 2077. with
Oh,
the
that's right.
hardcover art book, and I'm like, oh shit. Well, I won't buy it right now because I'm, I'm cycling through a few monthly purchases and stuff, stocking up on supplies and whatnot. But I will absolutely put that on a wish list for later.
Oh yeah, I also bought Dead or Alive 5 and 6. Well, just because I want to put them to my collection. I would have probably picked up some Guilty Gears, but people don't shut up about it. And again, I'm having that reaction where people don't shut up about the thing I like. I don't want to deal with it right now.
The enthusiasm can get too much, you know?
Yeah. Because, like I said, I've mentioned this several times, Guilty Gear is my 2D fighter of choice. Well, I can't even. Well, it's still 2D, technically. And Dead or Alive is my 3D fighter of choice.
I mean, yeah, there's a. Even if they use 3D models, if it's still the 2D, like, arena fighting, like, it's versus, like, 3D arena fighters. Like, for instance, like the Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm games. Even though those also have beat 'em up and shoot 'em up segments now, but, same vein. Like, there's a difference between, I can move, like, left and right and do placements of stuff versus, like, hey, we're 3D models, but we're in a 2D plane. We don't ever, like, pass, around into the side of each other kind of a thing.
Yeah. Oh, let me close things here. You know what? I hate to say it, but I think I'm done arting. I don't think I'm gonna be able to move on from this. I made something.
I mean, in an hour and 40, you drew a loose sketch. I don't want to necessarily say rough sketch because the lines are very clean. You've drawn a loose sketch of a face. You've got hair, ear, all the thing. Seems fine.
Yeah, I'm done.
Better than I could probably do it in an hour 40.
I'll work on this. I'll work on doing something more later, man. Again, I think I actually got. I gotta get back to basics. I really do.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is. Hey, shocker! Speaking of creative works, I haven't done any writing this week. I've been way too busy.
Yeah, no.
Well, okay, that's not technically true. I wrote a script for a video I posted this week. But yeah, I have not had free time to work on more Gensekai stuff. I will be glad to get back to it. But we've not had a lot of free time, I think, this week with a lot of things going on. And like I said, I did actually have like a decently filled week of my usuals. We did actually play D&D this week. We fought a weird psychic purple worm. It ate one of the player character's class abilities for 5 seconds.
Ow.
He got better, but we definitely had a little bit of a back and forth discussion about how okay that was. As written, by the way, our GM showed us the stat block later. As written, not okay. I think it was Kobold Press who wrote that monster stat. It's called a Fate Eater. As it is, it's not okay. You need to like make 3 saves. Like you make a save and then you make another save every long rest to get back what could be one of your class abilities or could be your max HP or could be a stat that you lost.
Jesus.
And like you do a check it's a random table that only happens on a crit, but you know me. I've done enough game design where I'm like, don't write it down if you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But we did have a little bit of back and forth, and I think it was okay. Vesper did enough of a drift where it was like, okay, this was clearly way meaner and stupider originally, and it's a funny thing. I still think that I still believe, from a game mastering standpoint, believing like, oh, this will probably never happen, but if it does, it's funny. That's just like, that means that's 100% going to happen. That will absolutely happen to you. That's just how game design works. In game design terms, guys, just don't design things or prep for things that you don't want to happen.
Yeah, no, that's... Oh, well, hey.
But it wasn't really as big of a deal. More annoying was the fact that I don't know why exactly, but man, I was trying to hit people with a longsword, and I was really bollocksing that up, even though I've got a decent score. And even when I did, my D8s were not rolling hot. So I'm debating the class dip into Warlock Hexblade so I can add charisma to hitting people with swords instead of strength, because that would be 2 more whole points, and also my strength will never get better. That is, I think, a decent criticism of 5th edition, because stat increases and feat increases are at the same rate, and they're not they're interchangeable. You can either choose to take a core statistic bump or take a feat, and most feats often include like a +1 in a stat as well, but it's not quite the same because they are split. They're not. You get them, or rather, they take up the same slot. They're not split as they should be. Your stats don't really get better. Like, I have taken a +2 to my charisma, and I took a feat earlier that gave me like +1 con that did raise my con bonus. It also gave me training in Constitution saving throws, which is what is after. So like it improved a lot of things, that one feat feats are good for the most part.
Mhm.
But yeah, like we're not gonna play all the way to level 20. We've got like 2 more stat bumps in us. If we get to them, I'm not putting them in strength. That's not where they go. I'm probably going to take feats that give me other cool stuff, or I'm going to bump other stats that are lower, you know?
Mhm.
Like, it's just an interesting part of the economy. I understand why they're kind of like simplifying things for people, but it's one of those things that I feel like we could slightly improve. I'm always thinking about, how I would do it.
Mhm.
There was also some interesting Unearthed Arcana, some beta content for 5e. They're trying out something related to the setting of the new Magic the Gathering set that's coming out because cross-marketing. But it's Mages of Strixhaven, which is a setting about mage colleges and magic school. Dallas, who is a huge MTG nerd and is in our D&D group with me and the rest of them, and also is in my Yu-Gi-Oh series, he describes it as, it's just Harry Potter. So I tend to trust his knowledge, but Wizards of the Coast is trying an interesting thing with D&D 5e where they made subclasses for related to the lore of the Strixhaven setting, which can be taken with multiple core classes. So they're like, hey, this subclass is available for Bard, Wizard, and Warlock, and just how they kind of mesh together, and it's really interesting. I like the concept. I don't like that in the UA version they've posted they have written it so it only fucks over Bards.
Mhm.
Because the way you get extra class features in your subclasses, you get them at certain level ups when you would get them. So Bards don't get a level 10 class feature. They get a core Bard feature instead, Magical Secrets. It's pretty important to them.
Mhm.
But the way the UA is phrased for the Strixhaven add-on is when you level up, when you would get a subclass feature, you take one of the subclass features of your generic subclass. And if you have 2 coming, you can't take them both. So if you're a Bard, you don't get your level 10 subclass feature until you hit level 14, and you have to pick between your 10th and your 14th feature. And I'm just like, no, that's dumb. That's really dumb. I know that you're trying to make it so that like you don't do extra bookwork. That only serves to mean that these subclasses are literally worse if you're a Bard. That's dumb. Don't do it. I only hope that enough people complain that they don't put it in the final product because obviously UA is playtest material, and I like the concept. So if I was ever to do that on myself, because I'm a sucker for magic school shit, like not just because of Harry Potter. I've also really liked like Grim Grimoire and a lot of other things in that not exclamation point Harry Potter genre.
Yeah.
Speaking of genres, I'm a sucker for mage school shit. Hell, I really love book 2 of Codex Alera. Like, there's a lot of really cool shit, but the book where Tavi is at Magic Rome College is also pretty fun. But so I could totally see myself using this content. I would just ignore the paragraph that says also fuck Bards. By the way, I would just be like, no. I don't care that it messes with your perfect balance of the subclass features. No, it's dumb. Don't do that. Don't deliberately underpower classes, especially when as a group of generic, Bards as a raw class are not that powerful. Bards are fun. We have a Bard in our group. Axe plays the Bard. The Bard is very effective when handing us Bardic Inspiration, so we get we're at high enough level we get D8s on stuff, and it applies to like spell attack rolls and regular attack rolls and saving throws. Axe's specific subclasses, his Bard also lets him use it as a negative on an opponent's next saving throw, which he always rolls a 7 or 8 on, which is great when you're casting Save or Suck spells and the other guy takes a -8.
Mm-hmm.
Good use of Bardic Inspiration. But other than having a interesting and eclectic spell list and access to some utility spells, it's partly because of his subclass. He's kind of an especially like talky, shifty bard. But damage output's not really his thing. Literally, I think he had about as much. Now, I had a really bad day, but he had a perfectly normal day shooting his short bow at people and did about as much damage with that as I did trying to hit people with my sword. So his normal day or good day looks about as bad as my bad day as a damage dealer. You're not scary in combat, so I don't really see the need to necessarily nerf bards. It's not like they're going to break the game because, they got 2 features at the same time?
Yeah.
Especially considering that this rule, like I said, it literally only applies to bards because when bards get their subclass features, each subclass starts with 2 features at level 1, like most subclasses do. So it's like, you're not afraid of doubling up. You don't want to break people's brains by making them think extra hard with bards. Don't be dumb. I hope it gets fixed. But other than that, the content's really cool. Like, There's a subclass that's only available to like warlocks and druids.
Ah,
All
when?
about like life and death and stuff.
Mm.
Very interesting.
When?
I also think it's very funny. There's a subclass that is extended to like it includes sorcerers as well as like wizards and stuff, but it's all about like the college that it's supposed to represent like does like art with magic, like statues, performance art, whatever, giving you extra mobility and like extra elemental shenanigans. It's so funny that this is basically like what Robin playing our Sork Rogue does. Like his character Karina the Cat Girl, literally a cat folk Sork Rogue, is all about that like extra mobility shenanigans with stuff, and I'm like, this is entirely hilarious that there is literally they designed a subclass that is all about this ethos. Very funny.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, if you're listening to the audio version and you don't understand why Lucky is yelling now, he has switched over to Final Fantasy XIV.
Mm-hmm.
He is occasionally getting blasted by wind.
Yes. Sorry. I yell a lot.
No, it's fine. I just realized that the audio version of this podcast, if people are listening, they'll have no context for that. Lucky did stop drawing. He is now playing Final Fantasy XIV. But yeah, let's see. Okay. We recorded Prague. Only one duel was messed up this week. And it was not the duel that took 35 minutes. Weird. Yes, we did have a match that lasted 35 minutes. It was a bit of a slog. We're going to hope that doesn't persist because we're going to try and change up the rules in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's going well. Doing stuff. Learning lessons. The content is flowing.
The content must flow.
We did... Well, speaking of the content flowing, we have not released an AP this week because we didn't upload it and I haven't had time to bug you about it.
Ah, shit. I could have swore I did. Fuck.
Yeah, no, what was... No, last week... 2 weeks ago, technically, was going down / love in an elevator. And then you guys actually went to the elevator this week, and then you explored a lot. We had our sneaky movie guaranteed moment where everybody stops being sneaky and there's the big freak out.
Well, to be fair, it was kind of one of those moments that, like, we could keep being sneaky, but we can hear the slight irritation in Omega who wants something to happen.
Well, it's true. You guys were... This was like the one moment that, for all my effort, for quite frankly, how blasé you guys were being about sneaking. Like, I got a little catty in a moment where you guys like opened a door to a room full of dudes and like they weren't looking right at you, but you guys like I described the room to you and the entries and exits, and you guys stopped to have a conversation, and I'm like, okay, you guys are literally standing like in the middle of the doorway. They're gonna notice you if you don't do something, and they're like, okay, fine, we'll leave and then we'll have our discussion. I'm like, all right, fair enough. But, like, we got a little cocky about how sneaky we were.
Yeah, no, but there was definitely a moment I was realizing that I'm like, yeah, we're not actually doing anything. So at a moment where we can get caught, it's like, no, it's time to punch.
Yeah, and I like I said, I think it worked out. I think the session was fun. You guys still got like a chance to like do your options and stuff, and ultimately the discussion of the players was like, yeah, no, we could try and sneak out of this, but what if we just didn't? What if we just did a tactical retreat and fought our way out of here? And I was like, okay, then roll some dice, do the thing. And then I cut it off a little early, but that's because we've been going for like nearly 3 hours, and I was like, we do have another boss fight coming up, so we'll resolve this arc with a boss fight and denouement tomorrow, basically.
Yeah.
But yes, I do believe that I don't even remember what that's called. Let me go to the archives. But it is definitely not posted. The last AP was posted before last week's episode of Let's Stick Geo, so it is not uploaded right now. Damn it. Like, you can do that later. It's okay.
Like, again, I'm horrible at remembering.
Who watch it, including Dallas, will catch up eventually. It's fine.
Yeah, I guess give people a chance to catch up. I do feel like some people say, like, I have heard people talking about how they do want to try it, but it's like, it's a lot.
It is a lot. For our Clone Wars game, we are at, like, 71 episodes, all of which are minimum 2 hours, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, and I perfectly understand. It's big. Like, I'm glad that Critical Role, the other kind of role, Critical Role has finished their second campaign. Now I can finally catch up because they're gonna stop making new ones, you know. And they went for like 130 sessions or whatever. So I don't feel bad about us taking probably that many to finish this thing. Hopefully not that many, but you know. Oh no, maybe we are. Are we caught up? That doesn't seem right. It says the last audio. Does that mean I lost? No, okay. Why is it at the top? No, yeah, there's a new one. SW. Oh, I mistyped it. I accidentally wrote the file name as SWPRG. That's why it's not in alphabetical order. Let me fix that right now. That's gonna bug the hell out of me.
Wait, so is it
Yes, no.
there or not?
Yes, there is. It is there. There is a 72, which
Oh,
was red alert.
oh,
Yeah. So we did record an episode last week that is not uploaded. I have the audio. I just accidentally transposed the file name so it was not in proper alphabetical order. I'm like, where the fuck is this? I fixed it now. Now it's in the line 72.
wild.
Tentatively titled red alert. Caught it. That's the beauty of doing everything, manually by yourself.
No, but
This is pretty funny. I opened up my Amazon homepage to just scroll through some shit, and it includes they have a pre-owned gaming segment where they're trying to sell me a Game Boy Color and a Nintendo GameCube. Interesting, funny. Not right now though. Ooh, but they do have the liquid bubbles toy. That's cool. It's like $20 for like 4 of these. 3-pack?
they're trying to catch that nostalgia.
Here, I'll post it in patrons so you guys can see the thing. It's gonna be like ludicrously big. Hell, actually, let me not do the URL. Let me just copy a picture of what I'm talking about. I'm like, hey, 3-pack for $20? I bought one of these at a science museum once. I did not pay $20 then. It was probably like $5, which is possibly too much for this. But I'm like, that's interesting, Amazon, that you're trying to get me to buy this. The one that I did own as a child is a little worn out. Like half the goo is like evaporated out of it over the past 20 years. But okay, let me see. I'm trying to think. Is there anything else really big to talk about? We got most of our talking out of the way yesterday in Let's Talk.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. Is there really anything else going on with me? And I don't think so. Like, I did actually do less shit this week because I was working on projects a lot and stuff. Anything else from you, Lucky, that you wanted to hit up?
Trying to think. No, I don't think so. Like I said, I've been putting a lot more thought into, like, you mentioned it, but you actually haven't done any actual more writing on Gensekai, but again, I don't know exactly. Again, God damn it, I don't know how fucking far out we are from actually. And oh yeah, no, everyone's just fucking dying.
We have definitely settled into a long form campaign that we are writing out, which is good for us. There were time periods where we were not doing long form stuff a lot.
So, but like the more I think about it, I'm just like, yeah, no, I think I'm starting to have a Jones for the Gensekai, because like I said, when you start writing again, I'm all like, yes, this is great. And so I started like pulling up your player's handbook, I guess we can call it, to just read over things. I've been reading over the Scions again and all that stuff, and oh god, how far out do we think you say we are? Because you say you have an end in mind for the Star Wars.
Yeah, I haven't. The Star Wars campaign has an end point, and we are possibly in the last run of missions before like the build to the climax. Anyway, like this is our last run of like, okay, I've got a few lingering plot threads I want to wrap up or introduce, and then everything else should be hopeful, not necessarily linear, but like fairly direct towards building up to like a big final confrontation sequence. So knowing us, that could take anywhere from like a couple months to like the rest of this year, because it's really a quality of like my own writing, but also how we all play these games that like I really truly don't know how long some content will take. Like if I write a lot to make sure there's enough room for you guys to play around in, sometimes you guys are like, oh, Omega, you wrote a lot, let's all explore it all. And other times we'll blow through stuff a lot faster than I thought, and there are even times where I'm like, hold on, we got to stop the session so I can write more notes. So I really can't say, but yes, the Star Wars campaign has an end in sight, and I don't know when we'll get there, but honestly, probably I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot by calling the shot, but I would guess that we would probably not hit 100 episodes.
Okay.
You know, we're on session 72. I don't think we'll hit session 100. But also, just by me saying that, I've probably cursed myself somehow. As always happens when I think these thoughts. But yeah. But so you've been reviewing the Gensekai stuff because you're one of the big fans of it, obviously. You know.
Yeah. Well, again, like it's one of those things. It's like me. I've always loved the isekai genre. So going to do something that is literally just those tropes. I'm like, nah, that's fucking baller. Like I said, like I have my character already set, Porter the Pork Priest. That's why that's why I was a little sad because I was actually checking the document the other day and I saw you literally have not written anything. I was like, oh.
Yeah, no, I just haven't had time to sit down and work on the next segment.
Because I'm excited for those pork facts.
Yeah, hopefully in this following week I'll have enough time to actually get back to the work there. Because like I said, it took me a lot of time to check out the section on Humane, but I've got the rough structure for the next segment, and then yeah, I can just run down the line. Like I know the general direction I'm going with all these fluff bits, and then we'll see how that rides out. So.
Yeah, no, but like just about like Gensekai, it's like I know I'm excited for it, but I also know that you also got those thoughts about the Legend of the Five Rings.
Yeah, I have my Legend of the Five Rings campaign. That's still not fully written. I don't know when I'll get around to finishing that. When I feel the inspiration, I guess, that's how that works.
Like, honestly, like, the more I think about it, like, I'm pretty sure you can probably just run Gensekai, like, almost how you run Mages of War and Star Wars, of, like, you don't really necessarily need an overarching story. You just need to, like, all right, guys, where are you going today?
No, Gensekai would definitely, especially because it would be playtesting a lot of the material that I wrote, did write some of my own talents and worked on the spec trees and stuff, like, and, other things too. It would definitely be like okay, you guys are together. You're gonna go to a place. We're gonna use some of the plot hook bits I already seeded in the fiction writing. You're gonna go to here. We're gonna show this off. You're gonna fight these enemies. We'll get some funny interactions. We'll let you guys explore your characters in the setting a little bit. And when we're done asking questions about this place, I'll pick you guys up and move you some other place for something.
Yeah,
pretty typical adventurous stuff. And the way the setting is set up works towards that.
Yeah, so it's like it's one of those games that I can feel like it'd be really easy just to start, and the narrative will build as we play. But like with Legend of the Five Rings, like I definitely feel like you want a
I have a specific story arc in mind that has segments that I am in the middle of working.
Yeah, so
that turned out to be a much longer form project than I probably originally planned, and I did go back and add more to it. But that is also another thing where I'm like, I know where I want to go with this. I just haven't felt the buzz to actually sit down and write it. Maybe when I always say this, but maybe when the next source book comes out, like that'll get me jonesing again. And I mean, I also as a revenge present, I don't think I can call it anything else. You did also buy me the latest full length novel of L5R, which I have somehow not read yet, even though it's been like 6 months. I know it's completely weird to me as well, but it's still sitting there. So I am sure when I'm like, hey, I've got my pile of books I need to fucking read, I will read that as well, and that'll probably get me back on the right track. But I do kind of want to be careful about, deliberately shaking up my motivation, because right now I am really jazzed to write Gensekai, and the parts of Gensekai I'm working on have been, like, lurking in the background of pure fluff and stat block writing for, like, years. So it's good to work when I got the motivation on this. And, there's any number of other games as well we could dip in.
Yeah, I know, but like that's what I kind of feel. It's like once we get done, I feel like we're gonna either go towards Gensekai or Legend of the Five Rings, unless you want to do some weird one shots. Like I don't know.
Has been like we could get experimental again. We definitely have done that in the past. Played around, poked some games. I've got an extensive list of games that I just sit on waiting for the time when it comes. And we've stretched our legs a little with our greater community, that we can find a handful of people who are free sometimes to get them involved in things.
Yeah.
Hey, I already said that because we did take a little break in the middle of Star Wars to do the Sprawl. I do already have the bones of the next Sprawl adventure.
I did enjoy the Sprawl.
That could be a good take a break moment if I ever have to do that.
I just realized we have two fucking turrets here. We have two black mages. That's kind of hilarious. They literally cannot move.
Oh, is that their thing? They just camp?
Yeah, they're wait. What are we supposed to do? Oh, they're gone. Bye.
That's a very big zone.
Yeah, no,
Death.
yeah, no, they just got yeeted off into spice.
Bye.
Bye.
But okay, if we don't really have anything further to crack on all that stuff, you know, we shot for 2 hours. We can go ahead and wrap up.
Yeah.
We can have a short. We had a really, really fucking long Let's Talk FGO. We can have a short what's up.
Yeah, no, that's probably best.
All right, well then, I guess it's time to do the wrap up. Do. Yeah. Also, we didn't acknowledge it, but there was a comment in chat from Devilish who I do know draws for he said earlier when you were talking about like the audio, like when we switched from audio and you were yelling at Final Fantasy 14, he talked about how sometimes he does yell while drawing.
I probably would yell too more, but it'd be more me yelling at myself of I'm horrible at this. Why am I doing this? But yeah, no.
Just yell hands.
Color theory.
Drawing hands is like the one thing I know that's rough for artists because I think every single artist I've ever seen talk about it has yelled like, "What the fuck, hands? How do hands work?"
Listen, there's
like,
a lot.
I don't think I've seen a single artist be like, "Yeah, no, I can do hands easy, no problem. I can do hands with my head tied behind my back, with my eyes closed."
Hands, eyes, perspective. Listen, I know some things about art.
There are people in real life with human eyes who don't get perspective, let alone drawing perspective. That's a complex one.
Yeah. So. Yeah, no, but yeah, if I'm in the tabletop cabal, I might just literally just start talking about Jinsakai at any fucking moment. So beware. I have thoughts.
It's how it works. That's how we do the thing, and that's honestly how I do a lot of, you know, my own editing work and like discussing with people and working on concepts as people ask things. There's so many concepts for like lore bits or items or whatever come from people, mostly Lucky, but also other people just reading the thing, asking questions, being like, "Hey, could I do this?" or "How would I do this?" or "What's up with this?" You know. And that drives me. And sometimes there have to be moments where I do have to be like, "Whoa, slow down. Okay, I need to write this bit down," you know, kind of stuff. But yeah, it's just good for discussion. But okay, we are winding down and wrapping up. That's good. I need to take a shower. I didn't get a chance to shower last night because we recorded until 2 a.m. So I'll, you know, take care of all that, the episode and everything. So let's do the wind downo.
Wind downo.
First of all, if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to give us a like if you liked it. I see 18 people watching and only 7 likes. You know what that means? That means I'm going to sit here and stare at you until you hit that like button. It's not moving. Listen, we've only recorded for 2 hours. I could literally hold y'all hostage until you hit that like button. There's 1. 10 more. Come on now, don't be shy. I got a couple. Can we break at least 2 digits before I decide to end the bit? Okay, we got 10. I can end the bit. All right. Likes are important. Oh, shit, now we've got 19 viewers. Now we need another like. No, I'm kidding.
Not about to say don't.
I won't keep going. But there was a switch in the number of viewers, so I got to do the callback. But yeah, so if you watch this later, be sure to check, you know, give it a like if you liked it. If you have any comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. You can also hit us up on our Discord. That link is, as always, in the video description, probably, and on our channel page, definitely. I'm pretty sure, actually. How do I even check the... Is it in edit? Yes, okay. Lucky did transpose the usual link dump.
I try.
We're both usually good at that, but because I don't set up the stream myself, I can't say for sure until I hit the little button, and it's not like it's easy. You gotta like hit edit and tab over there. Anyway, we're winding down. So join our Discord. It's cool. Talk about stuff there. Yell at people. It's fine.
I yell a lot.
If you are new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hopefully get us over that hump to 3K. We are just a few shy. We are more shy than we have been in the past, but also less shy than other times. YouTube did recently send me your month in review thing, which in addition to, you know, mind-boggling numbers of like so many individual watches, so many hours of watch time, I think it was like 300 and something this month. They also were like, "You've gained 0 subscribers." Like, not negative, not positive, just like, "Nah, just canceled out." I'm like, "Thanks, YouTube."
How?
That's great. That's what I wanted to hear in this email to comfort and congratulate me. But yeah, so maybe help us fix that problem for sure and bump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. Get those subs up.
Well, they are rookie
Even
numbers.
if you're already subscribed, you can also be sure to hit that bell for notifications so you always know when we post a new video or when we stream. Like when we stream What's Up. That'll be a great way to, if you hit that bell to know when I actually do get around to posting that Let's Talk FGO that you're all waiting for, so consider it. And, of course, you can join our memberships. You can get cool badges, get emotes drawn by Lucky himself. They let you do fun stuff in chat and in comments. And, of course, like it said at the front of the show, you can support us on Patreon. You can get access to the show in audio format and all our other podcasts, audio format. Downloadable for as little as $1 a month or $10 a year. And also get access to other things. Watch all our other shows live when they're produced. Get access to videos early, get access to topic polls, all the fun stuff, shout-outs, etc. And it really helps us out and supports us. So we hope you will consider it, as quite a number of fine people have. And, yeah, okay, that's everything. So I think we're just going to get on out of here.
Alrighty. I'll see you next time.